This series of shorts that I've been doing in the last weeks have been very interesting. I think, at least myself, it is very interesting because it is something that goes very deep into my thoughts every day when I'm thinking about the world around me. Society as a whole is a very complicated thing, and we are very much stuck into a particular kind of way of thinking about what society should be. But there are so many other options, and the world has always been full of different kind of options. And at this moment we are growing more and more towards a monoculture, which is going to stifle any form of creative thought and any kind of variation in feelings that people might have and concepts that might broaden our horizon as human beings. So allowing ourselves to look into the perspective of other beings is very important. The first series was about society as a whole. This second series is about the Daoist vision of society, and there's going to be a third series about the way how animals are incorporated in our life and how animals should be incorporated in our life. A society is any place where animals or plants live together and learn to cooperate with each other for each other's benefits. When you are looking at your own pets, you see that they become friends even though in nature maybe they would eat each other. When you see plants in your garden, there are plants that are growing together even in spite of the fact that in nature they will never grow like that at all. If you let them go wild, they will create cooperation between each other because that is the way how both of them can survive. Even if you put plants under a tree where normally nothing grows, you see that then some kind of cooperation comes about. But animals, these are the most amazing ones. Society is just an agreement. At the moment, when you look at a society, you can see that it has a particular kind of organization, and this organization is the agreement. And the result is that the society is what you make it. So if you behave in a particular kind of way and you're complaining about the society, the importance is that you understand what is your role in that society. How are you contributing to that negative effect in society itself? Are you preventing this? The Daoist view on society is that you cannot blame somebody without first being perfect yourself. So at the moment when you complain about foreigners or about people stealing your job or about crime and so on, first be without fault yourself before you throw the first stone. Most religions and philosophies, they agree with each other. But are we really doing that? Let me know in the comments if you are actually contributing to a better society, or are you just trying to get rid of the things that annoy you? Did you know that society is a set of rules and that not all rules are equally pleasant? Societies are pretty stressful things, and this is why in Daoist culture and in Chinese culture in general, they say you have to understand your role, you have to study it, and you have to cultivate your role so that you can become better in fulfilling that role to find happiness and pleasure in life. In general, you see that society is very stressful, and as a result of this stressfulness, and people do not have clear rules for themselves, they need laws, they need regulations, they need all kind of stuff that is going to make life more difficult. And as a result of that, there will be more conflict. So what do? We try to get rid of these conflicts. So that means that you have to allow people to have more freedom. At the moment when you limit the freedom, that can go well for a while, but eventually people are going to be unsatisfied. How are you feeling about your society? Most of us have some form of criticism on our society. We don't agree with this or we don't agree with that. Sometimes we have an alternative idea. In my case, my biggest concern is the healthcare of everybody because, I was born unhealthy and I have become pretty much healthy through my own effort. The situation in the world right now does not look very good, even though there are some really good aspects, like for instance the greening of the world,
by electrification and so on is going very much better than people usually think. We can do without fossil fuels already if we want to, and we push a lot of it. So now I'm, of course, as you know, also busy with my research, and for this I also wrote this book. I don't know if you've already bought it or read it, and I think if you want to think about your society and when you want to know what the pressures are and what the solutions can be for your health, then I think you definitely should read this book.
What is so specific about society within Daoism that it has its own movement? One of the most interesting things about Daoism and society is something that people usually see as superstitious, because the idea of Daoism is that society is not just its people, but it is also its ancestors, the ghosts and the spirits, like the hungry ghosts and demons and animals and plants and so on and so on. And all these creatures together, they live together in layers. As a result of this interaction, we are having either good lives or bad lives. In general, these layers do not interact with each other, and in general they stay apart. But if you train yourself for it, you can view into these layers and make connection with these beings, and as a result of connecting with these beings, you become what you call a shaman. Did you know that in the so-called spirit world, according to Daoism, spirits are not really that keen on meeting you? So if you think you are traumatized by spirits in your house, maybe you should look in your own heart, because guilt is a very powerful disruptor of any kind of society. So if you live in a society with a lot of turmoil inside, because people hate foreigners or they hate animals or whatever kind of things they have as a aggressive causing factor, usually this is because of deep-seated guilt. Very often religions are being blamed for causing a lot of guilt in people, but the reality is that it is not religion that causes guilt, but it is our own actions. And at the moment when you take responsibility for your own actions and you start resolving your guilt by recognizing what you have to correct, then at that moment you start becoming a real human. Try it. What is actually the real view about ghosts and spirits within Daoism? In effect, you can see that in Daoism, the presence of ghosts, spirits and so on are integral to Chinese medicine. If you are not understanding the existence of spirits and ghosts, you cannot understand Chinese medicine. But also in practices like Daoyin, Qigong, Tai Chi Chuan, ghost spirits, they play a major role. And the real reason is because these practices very often are forms of purification of exorcistic nature. You look into your body, you have 3 death spirits and you have 9 worm spirits. These are crawling through your body, causing the death of you over time. And at the moment when you are practicing, you're trying to get rid of these things. Talk about energy, nowhere in Daoism, nowhere in Chinese medicine, but talk about spirits all the time. And the reason for that is because the promise is that you would not have to die and get sick. Are you still wondering if spirits are a real thing, as it is for Daoism? The reason why it is such a powerful image and why the belief in spirits of some sort is shaping our societies so incredibly deeply is because spirits are essentially ambiguous, they are vague, we don't really understand them, and we can attest any kind of meaning to them, and as a result of that they have become like super beings. And we have done the same thing in our modern society. We have created bacteria and viruses, which are real things because we can see them under the microscope, and they do all kind of things, and they seem to have some sense of purpose in whatever they are doing, and they of course live in their own reality, and as a result of that we get to be collateral damage. These are some examples of the videos I made, the shorts I made on this topic. The long form video you can find on my other channel. There are 3 of them, as I told, 3 different kind of levels, and there will be one more next week for this channel also with videos, shorts
And you have to
about
understand that
animal
Daoism is very
things.
eclectic
It will be
so it took
interesting, I will
some of the
promise you.
best and some of the worst things
If
from
you
any
feel
other religion
like,
and put it
just
into context.
join this
Judaism,
channel.
Islam, Christianity,
If you are
Buddhism,
really interested in
but
Chinese
also, of
medicine
course,
and you are
include
either studying
Confucianism,
or you want
the
to go
general
study,
idea
just
about
contact
how
me
society should
to
be
join
organized
our program
as a whole.
and
That is then, of course,
get
city
on
and
a academic
society.
bachelor master level
When
education in
you
Chinese
look
medicine,
at
which is
Daoism,
comparable
you
with
cannot
anything you can get
blame its
anywhere in the
institution
world
per
and
se
better.
because there are many
There's a
people
lot of
organizing things.
self-translated
You can
material
only
for our
blame the
school,
people
and
inside
there
these
are
institutes
programs
for doing
that
the wrong
are
thing.
following
Emperors,
the teachings of
ministers,
Sun
generals,
Miao and Zhang
priests,
Fen
monks,
parallel
anybody
to each
who
other.
abuses the system.